What's going on everyone, you're back with your boy Jono for another quick math lesson. Today we're going to look at something called the unitary method for finding percentages. And this is an extension on our last lesson where we found the percentage of a given amount. This is where we're learning how to find those harder percentages, the ones that don't end in 0 or 5. And the skill here is incredibly similar to the one that we saw in the last lesson. So if you're on top of that, I guarantee you're going to find this one just as easy. So when we're talking about a unit, what we're really saying is 1 in mathematics. Like a unibrow or a unicycle is one eyebrow or one wheel. A unit in this is we're looking for 1%. And then we can combine this with our knowledge from the last lesson of finding 10% and 5%. And then again, we're just doing repeated addition. So if we're on top of finding these 10 and 5%, this last skill is not too much of an extension on our previous knowledge. So the big difference between 10% and 1%, 10% was 1 decimal point jump, and 1% is 2 decimal point jumps. So if we look at an example, if I've got 1% of 400, I've got that decimal after the last number that I can just imagine. I would prefer if you actually put it in, and I'd move it 2 positions to the left. This becomes 4. Another way of saying 1% is we're talking about 1/100th of the original value. So if I take my answer, the 4, and then multiply it by 100, it will give me the original value, or that 400 that I started with. That's another way to check that you got this 1% correct, or just another way to think about what 1% actually represents. So if I'm looking for 1% of 220, I've got the decimal point at the end. It moves 2 positions and my answer is 2.2. So the reason that this is helpful is I can find harder numbers. So 12% of a value would have been really difficult using our 10% and 5%. But if I can find 1% as well, I just have to do repeated addition with those 2 numbers. So if I'm looking for 12% of 150, the 10% is just the 1 decimal jump. That's equal to 15. That's 10% of the value. But if I'm looking for 1%, I've got to go not just once, but twice, which is equal to 1.5. So that means 10% plus 1% plus 1% would give me the 12% value. And that's the 15 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, which is equal to 18. And that's my final answer. And that is just the major skill. If we have a look at another example, if I've got 26% of 60, I just have to find 10%, 5%, and 1%, and then I'm definitely in the money. So 10% of 60 is 6, just that 1 decimal point move. 5% is half, which is equal to 3. And then the 1% is the 2 decimal point moves, or 1 more than the 10%, which is equal to 0.6. So then if I'm looking for 26%, I just have to find 10%, 10%, 5, and 1. So I've got 6 plus the 3, which is equal to 15. Add on that 0.6 at the end, and my answer is 15.6. Done. Finally, you can use a shortcut to finding numbers that are greater than 50%. Because we know 50% is half of the original value, I would find that first and then do any 10% additions that you need to. Instead of finding 10% and then doing it 5 times to get to 50, this is just a little shortcut that will make life lots easier. 50% of 21 is just 10.5, and the 1% is that 2 decimal point move to 0.21. So then all I've got to do is add that 10% to 2 of those 1%, and I have 10.5 plus 0.21 plus 0.21, which gives me the answer of 10.92. And these are the hardest questions you're going to see for that. So this is the only major skill that we need. Instead of moving it once to find 10%, we're moving it twice to find 1%. So as long as you're on top of that and you can do these repeated additions, these questions are not too difficult at all. All you've got to remember is that you need to stick with it, scaffold it out nicely so you can find the 10, the 5, the 1 pretty easily, and I guarantee you'll find this not too bad. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.